Or even more. Yeah, but they didn't think that. I'm sure what they're gonna get into that. What they mean.
Oh, we're not clearly.
No. Your eyes still working good, John?
I have a story for you.
Well, I heard that. You told me.
You're right.
Just take that public contact.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, they got better. I don't know if you noticed it.
Fantastic. Here.
Well, Chris is
Are you gonna reach out to Drew?
earlier.
Or?
Yes, I have a question about that. Can we talk after the meeting? It's right in the volume, it's so stressful. It's really for common.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, no problem.
You go grab that and change the you know,
Got one room to myself.
Alexa and Steve. Oh. I'm gonna press the button.
When I wanted to administering the judge, didn't get a public one last year, would you take a picture of reading this? It's for posterity for the village in our guidelines. What is 178.7?
I know, I got a regular chair.
Well, she don't, either she or I usually take the pictures and we go. I know she takes. I know.
Do we want to do just because there's an extra?
Because you want to do this. All right. Giving the IT tech a moment. Let's.
You'll go.
Thank you.
John, are we good to go?
You're good.
Thank you. All right, I will call this meeting to order. It's 7:32. If you'll please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Rhea, if you'll call roll, please. Trustee Diatley?
Here.
Trustee Thomas? Here. Trustee Schatzberger? Here. Trustee Cannelly?
Here.
Trustee Hawk?
Here.
Trustee McGuire? Thank you. All right, and roll call, trustee Connelly.
Yes, point of order, please. In the audience today, we have Cliff Surges. He is a Kane County board member. And his protection, Chris. Next to him. And as you know, in the past, I've talked about our need to get some assistance for our road projects. And I reached out to Cliff, and he agreed to come and talk to us about some opportunities. So rather than keep them through the entire process today, I'd like to make a motion to adjust the agenda so that they could speak first, probably in that 3 to 5 minute time frame. So if it's okay with the group, could we please do that?
You'd like to make a motion to
I
add
am
the
making-
new business for an address from Representative Sturgis.
That is correct.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Thomas. Comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Next motion. And did you want to make a motion to move this item forward
Yes.
to the current
Yes, I
time?
would like to make a motion that we could move that forward and then begin.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved by Connelly, seconded by Diatley to move the new business item G, adding Cliff Surges to our discussion up to the current time. Do I, roll call, comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Hawk,
I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you very much. Representative Sturgis, if you'd like to, thank you, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Do you want this read?
Yes,
Did
I,
we miss that?
no, that's actually what the president's report right after this.
Got it. We'll
Thanks.
just hold that right here. Thank you so much to the two new trustees, newer trustees that I've not met before. I'm very comfortable in this room. Coach daughter, coached son, go to church together, big fan. Come on, it's so, I mean, I'm very comfortable here. So when Bill calls and says, hey, we're looking for a little bit of help here. But I've tried to stay abreast of the water situation and how you're addressing some of those, and dollars are stretched thin. Bill asked very simply, is there a magic pail behind the screen that we could just reach into and grab? And I said,
And he said, yes.
yeah, I tried to say that. And before I go further, I do want to say that we did reach out to Dr. Iqbal, who is another member of the board who serves a small section of Sleepy Hollow as well. Mo was very complimentary and saying, go get him tonight and stuff. So one of the ways that we can help, is the community block grant program. And if you're not aware of that, I brought our director of community block grant development from the county with us. But before Chris says anything, I do want to, we all try and work together. We're all part of the community. I've been here, Audrey and I celebrate our 36th wedding anniversary tomorrow. We got married and moved to Gilbert's. We've been here. This is home for us. But it's equally home to other politicians in the area. I did reach out to Suzanne Ness and said, I don't ever want to drop your name at a meeting without calling you first, Suzanne. Is there? And she said, yes, if you could get your guy to work with them and prepare something into the next budget cycle, we should be working on that. So while there's not a magic bucket of money behind the screen, there is the ability to roll up our sleeves and say, what is it that we're trying to achieve and how do we all work together to make that happen? So with that said, if I just really brief high overview, Chris, what the block grant is and how it usually plays out.
Okay, so I'm Chris Dahl, Assistant Director, Development and Community Services at King County. And I've been working with the CDBG or Community Development Block Grant for a number of years. And this is a grant that is provided by HUD. And we get an annual allocation. Crossing our fingers, that continues to be the case. We got about 1.3 million this year. It's used for different priorities. In the county, we use it for affordable housing. We use it for neighborhood improvements, homeless services, and planning and program administration. So what you're looking at would fall within that neighborhood improvements category. And the overarching kind of criteria is that the community that's served within these categories has to be low to moderate income. So you're looking at 80% or less area median income. So that's the challenge to you. You do fall within our communities that we can administer CDBG grants to. Now typically, when we're looking at an area, we receive census tracts from HUD. And that's how we determine if there is an area within your village or community that falls within low to moderate income. But what I will tell you, and this is where we can look, is that if you are not in that census tract, there's still a chance that you might have an area within your community that falls within that area. You would have to determine that, and we would have to do kind of, I won't call it door to door, but door to door surveys and determine that and see if that is the case. So.
Yes,
that's
I do
kind of
know
where we're
that
at.
there are, you have breakfast on a quarterly basis with the mayors, and I do know there's mayors from our area that receive chunks of this grant,
Mhm.
specifically Carpentersville.
Coverage,
And John is very good at coming over and saying, hey, we have this neighborhood. Could we get that from this block grant budget rather than from our budget? So it works out well. So my thought process, I don't know the demographics of the apartments up the hill. I don't know every nook and cranny, but it seems to me that if this is an area we've identified, we might be able to fall within that. It's worth pursuing and not ignoring. And then, for those of you that haven't been on the board long, a lot of this stuff isn't money that you just come up with. A lot of this is matching grants. So we find ourselves oftentimes saying, if we don't have our portion, but we don't need it all, we just need a little bit because the state will help, because the federal will help, because so when I reached out to Suzanne earlier today, it was, can we partner and find a way? And I know your administrator is here, but maybe that's the tack that we begin to take. And while that's not an immediate solution, that is let's roll up our sleeves and work together and see what we can do.
Yes,
Get
and
ready for
we're,
next budget season.
yeah, and we're definitely available, I have, if anyone wants a card, I have cards with me. And I can communicate with any of you about this further if you'd like.
Chris, can you spell your last name for me?
Donald, and people always spell it wrong, it's D as in David, AAL.
There you go. Thank you.
And in addition to the community block grants, we do have the riverboat grants that are oftentimes available, and Mr. Cayos, who serves the next area going north to Algonquin, chairs that committee. And while those funds are committed for this year, by all means, let's get something on there. And while a portion of their funds, and again, these funds are $1.5 million here, 2 million there, stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of their stuff goes to not-for-profits, but that doesn't mean that we can't say, hey, listen, we've had a unique or specialty situation. Is there 500,000? Is there 750 that might be available that we can use? So if we all just work together, and Bill, I don't know if this is what you were looking for, but I think our 5 minutes and.
No, that is what I'm looking for, but I've got a couple of questions when you're starting to wrap up. So to the riverboat, did you name someone that's kind of, has that?
Chris Cayos currently is the chairman of that committee. And I believe that President Gore and I could access Chris pretty well.
Okay, and then when you speak about certain areas that might hit the median income numbers, can you give me an idea what that number is?
Well, it's determined by, like, if we did a survey, we would ask for the number of people within the household. I actually have
Are you asking if there's a dollar threshold?
Well, I know that we know what our village median income is for the village,
Yeah,
which is probably way higher than
and I
the
can
numbers you're thinking.
leave this with you.
Okay,
So this yellow area is the 80%, and then this is less than 80%, and then this is median income. So
okay.
if we did a survey, like, if we did an individual survey and we went house to house, we would ask for how many people in your household, and then what's your annual income? And based on those numbers, we would determine if they fall within the 80% or less.
Okay,
Is it community wide, or can it be boiled down into pockets within the community?
Pockets within the community, right? Okay, super. And then there's a percentage, if we did the survey, They would come back and we have to have like a percentage of people within that survey fall within this area. I think this year was 44.4%, so,
Okay. Now, is there a fee for having that survey done?
no, we can do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Can you explain the oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Corinne.
I understand the CBDG, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I thought that was state, now you're getting the block grant, is that your portion that you're getting from it, and so we apply to county, or we work with you to apply for a state grant through that CBD?
You would work with us, so we go out, we have an application process, it's cyclical. This year, and it'll probably be the same next year, we put it out in February, and we can contact you and say, hey, your application's out. And then we usually have about 4 to 6 weeks, 6 weeks probably, to have you respond, and then we work through the applications as a staff. And then we have a subcommittee, the Community Development Commission, that's made up of board members, municipal members, and private citizens. And we present to them, and then through the process, it goes up to board and approval through board.
All right.
Your representative is a commission member, so.
Yes.
Well,
that's
there.
what I'm looking at.
Question for you, so if we were to determine, let's say, the apartments meet the income qualifier, does that mean we can only replace the streets around the?
Yes, it would be specific to that area.
How far beyond that, Chris?
That I can't answer, but I can find out.
Okay.
If I was the right answer, I'll find out. Yes.
And for your board, we will follow this up with an email giving bullet points and deadlines that would seem appropriate for administrators to work with staff and come back and say, hey, we might have something here, what can we?
Yeah. I'd love to work with you.
Well, and I'd like to work with you too, because there's some things that I haven't been aware of here.
Yeah.
And then we can still work on that magic bucket that Chris talked about earlier.
I'd love to.
Let's talk about it already. Okay. Anything else?
No, thank you. If you would like to just read right into the civility pledge, we'll bump
There we
that up.
go.
in the residency report. Thank you.
This is fantastic. Our civility pledge. In the interest of civility, I pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community, and understanding that we may each have different ideas for achieving that objective. No, I'm plagiarizing this right now. To the next board, so.
Thank you both.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Trustee Kennelly, for reaching out to Representative Surgis and getting them here to discuss the grants with us. All right, we will move on to item number 4, the minutes. And I have a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes from the June 1st meeting.
I'd like to make a motion to discuss the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Yeah.
Just briefly, when we were going over the president's report, you had stated, so looking back at section, under the president's report, where you had made a comment about the Robert's Rules of Order.
Yes.
So I had found this once before, but that night I wasn't able to find it. So in our ordinance, section 154, meetings of the president and board of trustees, rules of business on all points of order not specifically provided for by law, Robert's Rules of Order is hereby adopted as the law to govern the deliberations of this board.
Yes.
Of St. Cyprian, Sleepy Hollow. So you had stated that it is suggestive.
Yes.
But this specifically states that our ordinance, we are to follow the Robert's Rules of Order.
I was speaking directly to the items about the actionable items. Yes, Robert Rules governs, but it does indicate at the beginning, unless there are state, I think, what was the first clause? Absent state statutes. So state statutes in the supremacy clause, they overrule Robert's rules, and that's, I may have flubbed the words, my apologies on that, but the Robert's Rule of Order does not govern agenda items more so than the 48-hour rule. And what I was trying to convey is this 48-hour rule is the superseding authority which prevents us from adding actionable items to the agenda during a meeting. But otherwise, Robert's Rule governs how we proceed. It doesn't govern, that's where the Illinois Open Meetings Act 5 ILCS 120-2.02. That's what requires an actionable item be posted on the agenda 48 hours in advance. And that's the superseding authority in that case. So that's why, I'm sorry, the phrasing was poor, but
Okay.
yeah, it was specifically to the actionable items.
So when a member asks for, so when a trustee asks for an item to be added to the agenda, and it's more than 48 hours in advance, that should be added to the agenda then?
It can be added to the agenda provided it's ready to go before the board, yes.
Provided it's what though?
What I was explaining last time, the process of going through, making sure administration is checked off on it and legal, and making sure that whether it needs an ordinance or a resolution, that the staff can cover the changes. So I wanted to go through the departments before it comes before the board, to make sure that it's something that,
So the 3 items that I asked for that were not added to the agenda, that should not have had to go through legal or anything else, why were they left off then?
because there are discussion items that are in my president's report to address, which I said in the email to you. What we like to have on the agenda to keep, and this is something Eugene, our Administrator Van and I discussed at the beginning, is have primarily on the agenda just the discussion and motion, the actionable items. If you may recall, at the beginning of the administration, I had started adding in any things that I'd be discussing under President's report, and it was getting to be a lengthy agenda. We just discussed visual aesthetics and just the length of an agenda, decided to keep it as actionable items only instead of discussion items. Because those can be brought up in the trustee reports, it can be brought up under new business, under a president's report, without any motion to the board.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna go on record. I don't think those items would have been on your president's report if I hadn't brought them up. So I just want that on.
Thank you for sharing that.
I have a question.
Please.
You mentioned that you have to run this by legal. Are you running everything that goes on the agenda by legal? Because I wouldn't think we'd have to run, given permission to the service club to do something by legal.
Not, I mean,
And I'm only concerned because legal can be a major expense.
and that's why we want to do it with discretion, but it
Right.
warrants the discussion between Eugene and me and looking things up, seeing if there's any questions that we have to do. There have been things that have been brought up that then Mark, Attorney Schuster, has shared with me. It shouldn't, he needed some time to review. We've had not missteps, but we've gone a little farther ahead than we should have. And so he was just cautioning, we take a little time to just run things through him.
Okay.
And also, it's not saying that anything was wrong, but with Administrator Van, like I said, we just received a new administrative assistant. We're just now operating at full staff. We were very taxed in order to get things done. And so when we're changing things that have been in place for a long time, it was a lot of catch up in a very short amount of time. And it's not so much that we can't do it, but that particular timing was when they were also busy with the stickers and the tags for the vehicles. And we only have people here for a certain amount of time and so many, so.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Canelli, did you have?
No, just listening.
Right. Any further comments, questions, or discussion regarding the?
One other, I mean, just maybe we would review this later, but in reviewing the statement or the invoicing from Mr. Schuster, miscellaneous matters that we're getting billed for.
Can we bring that up under the bills then?
Yeah.
Instead of minutes?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion with respect to the regular board meeting minutes from June 1st? The motion was specifically for discussion. Would you like to change to an approval? It doesn't change your vote, doesn't affect your vote, but you're very specific with discussion.
Yeah, I moved to.
Move to accept?
Yeah.
Trustee Thomas, do you second the move or the,
I'm thinking about it.
can I get a second from anybody else?
Second.
Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Diatley to approve the regular board meeting minutes from June 1st. Any further comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the June 1st appropriation meeting minutes?
So moved, Diatley.
Second,
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thomas. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to the president report, we had Representative Surges here to read the civility pledge. Upon reading the code, we discovered that the village clerk appointment is also an annual appointment. So without further ado, I would like to appoint Jennifer Ree as the village clerk. And, oh. I don't have a motion on here for that. Well, we'll postpone that to the next meeting. Well, I intend then to appoint Clerk Ree for a second term as village clerk. And we will have that motion at the next meeting and do her appointment at that point. We'll do it in later July. All right, moving on to the trustee liaison appointments. As I noted at the last meeting, an observation I found myself returning to this past year has been that as trustees in our prior positions, the knowledge of the village day-to-day business and how the different departments function was very restrictive and rather singularly focused. I had intended on broadening that scope with creating second chairs and committees at the very beginning of the administration. Unfortunately, the second chair idea proved to be too cumbersome with the Open Meetings Act rules, so we went away with that. And also, unfortunately, we only had enough volunteers to create a quorum for 3 committees so far. While continuing in your current positions can be beneficial, insofar as you have an opportunity to focus on individual issues, you have more time to grow projects that you're working on. At other times, it can be myopic. It can lead to some assumptions, and sometimes it can lead to having kind of tunnel vision with respect to what you're working on as opposed to the scope of the village as a whole. With that in mind, I had come up with the idea of another option, which was the appointment changes made at the last meeting. I've listened to the feedback from the last meeting, and it is my understanding that most of the board is very unhappy with that change and are not in favor. Many of you indicated that the proposed appointments were not areas of your expertise or your preference, and there were some time commitment issues, and that you would generally just prefer to stay in your positions. I'd like to share with you a little more detail as to why I made the appointments that I did, and then we'll proceed from there. Trustee Thomas, I was very grateful for how you navigated the departure of building official Detmer. I also had charged you and Eugene with helping us find a new building official, and I was very happy that we have that now with Dan Straight. And to me, that was the crowning moment of this last year under your purview as P&Z. As I expressed to you this weekend when we ran into each other, it was my understanding that you had a desire to be on finance committee while we were trustees. You corrected that and shared with me that you had not been interested in that. So my mistake for misinterpreting that. That was the reason that I was focused on putting you on finance. Trustee Hoff, as we've indicated, you and the finance committee have done a tremendous job figuring out the funding for the water main infrastructure program. When you and I first were talking about this back during the campaign, you had very little interest in finance. You were more interested in doing public works and roads and parks. But I knew that that was the spot we needed in order to get the water main project going forward. Now that that project has come to the end with funding, it was a campaign promise that I had made and wanted to follow through. And I had also shared with you on the phone months ago that I wanted you to be able to carry it over the end zone. That's why I suggested putting you on water and sewage so you could follow through with Jeff and with Kyle as that progress came to fruition and completion. Trustee Schatzberger, yes, I did appoint you for environment, and I get that yours is a little bit of a different position because you weren't elected, you were appointed. With moving everybody around, I was trying to find a compatible position. I originally was thinking finance with your background, but I also appreciated that when we need our finance trustee the most is during appropriations, and that falls in line with tax season, which I also understand is very difficult for you. So I knew your expertise was there, but I figured the timing wasn't a good fit. And you had expressed an a passionate viewpoint on left turns on Sleepy Hollow Road. in chats with the chief, I know there's another one of our new officers who's made it one of his personal missions to track the left turns. Honestly, we thought it was a good fit for you and that officer to work together and working with the chief to get to know just another avenue of the village. Trustee Kennelly, I know you and Director Killinger have really just been kind of getting to know not getting to know the ropes, but you haven't had a committee to take a lot of action lately. You've been formulating a plan. And it was my understanding from Director Killinger that you guys were moving forward with more things in your year 2. So he advocated for you to stay on that position. And then we both thought that taking on buildings and environment would be a good fit. They're a little bit more compatible with roads and parks. Since we have been absent a trustee for quite some time, we have that 6th committee kind of hanging out there and not long, but out there. As for Trustee Diatley, as you indicated last meeting, if something's not broken, don't fix it. That was not the intent with removing you from police, but rather you are our most veteran trustee. You've been on it for 7 years and have successfully negotiated two union contracts. I know that when I came on as water and sewage trustee, Trustee Nemec, who had that position before, certainly made himself available, but our schedules rarely aligned for us to follow up and get a lot more information. I've liked working with people who've had the experience before me, where I have a regular basis to get that information and pass the mantle along. That was my intention of, with your 7 years of experience, sharing that with somebody else so that we have that institutional knowledge continuing on. And I know that sometimes P&Z is not the most favored position because it can be a more difficult position emotionally, code-wise, all of that. But I also thought with you being the veteran one and us having a new building official, not only have you been with this administration for this current year, but you've had 6 years under the prior one. You know how the village works, and I thought you would provide a steady presence for the new building official as he was coming in. Those are the reasons I decided to appoint, or I wanted to appoint each of you to those positions. I appreciate, or I get that President Pickett, he generally only assigns people every 2 years with the election if trustee changes have been made. So I can see where that was surprising. And I also respect that sometimes after a year, you're better suited to perform for the 2nd year. And that's what I was hearing from you guys. You have plans still to go. So what I'd like to ask is that you guys take into consideration some of the thoughts and my reasonings for why I was making these appointments. As I indicated in the last meeting, these won't take effect until July 1st. I am not okay. That sounds kind of simple. I'm happy to have you guys keep your current positions if that's what you so choose. But I would ask that you take a couple days or this week to just consider what I've shared. Also potentially bear in mind that when I was appointed water and sewage 3 years ago, I had no knowledge, no expertise, no interest in water and sewage. But being part of that opened my eyes to it, showed me the importance of it. And I'm proud to say that this board successfully is moving forward with that project. I see that with each of you as well. Just because you don't know a topic doesn't mean it can't be something that you can really sink your teeth into and move forward with. So please go ahead and let me know by Monday, June 22nd, next Monday, if you would like to remain with your position or if you're open to trying another appointment, and we'll see if it kind of lines up and we can make that work. If it doesn't, understood, we'll continue with the position.
I'll let you know now. I'm not gonna do it.
Thank you for taking the time to consider that. So as I was trying to say, my role is to lead by consensus. I want to make sure that we're all on board. If you're not interested, please let me know. Thank you very much. As for the report for what's happened this past week, that's been a busy 2 weeks. Oh, and actually I wanted to leave with 1601. There's been some discussion and questions on Facebook. The June 22nd public hearing has been postponed. Instead, it's going to be a meeting with Administrator Van, myself, Trustee Thomas, and the Jameses to follow up, see where we stand. We're sending invitations to the James's attorney as well as ours, and then Partnersville to see if they can join us. But the current meeting group are Eugene, myself, and Kelly, as well as the Jameses. We will have an update for everybody as soon as we do know something. My apologies for I know it is a difficult issue, and it does not help that you feel that you're being jerked around with the dates and hearing that there's public hearings. It's emotional roller coaster, and I'm sorry for that for all of you affected by it. What had happened was basically they submitted an application. We came back to them with concerns about completeness, with the June 8th one that had been filed, our thought was that it was gonna be June 22nd, when we realized they had to amend their application. And then there was a verbal miscommunication between the Jameses and the attorney, our attorney Schuster, that didn't get clarified until the following Monday, from the prior week. So our apologies for that, but we've gotten that squared away. There is no hearing because there, as Deb Vernon pointed out at our planning and zoning meeting, there had been no publication. It had not been filed. I had received bad information on that. So we will, as soon as we know more, we will let you know on that. But there's no public hearing for June 22nd.
We're gonna pull the sign on the property.
Can you please reach out to the Jameses and ask them to pull that, please? Yes, thank you. It's still up. I'm sure by the night.
It's the one we put in, right? It shows
It's our
the.
sign.
It is, but it's the Jameses who have to install it and then bring it back to us
Okay.
because of trespass. Well, the owner of the property is the only one who's allowed on the land. So, as for the past 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago on Thursday, June 4th, I had the really great opportunity. I went to Dundee Crown High School, my alma mater, for a groundbreaking ceremony. And they are building on they're renovating the main office area and creating a manufacturing and skills center. They already have the classes and the curriculum, but they needed a better facility for it. So they did a groundbreaking that day. It was really fun because I ran into somebody and I said, Mark Wetzel, that must be his father who is the superintendent. And sure enough, it was a friend of mine who I'd known since high school, and he was the deputy superintendent. So running into old faces from school and then seeing the change and the improvements that they're making was really encouraging and just fun to be back on campus. The following week then we had Pura Vida, which is over at the old Salsa Street location. We had a ribbon cutting. It was a soft opening for this location. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's tacos and tequila. I'd like to thank Alma for setting it up. She's the business owner. I met with her about 2 months ago for the liquor license, and she's very enthusiastic. She's very passionate about her food. She's run multiple successful restaurants in other areas around here. We're looking forward to the addition here. It's going to be a family style Mexican restaurant. They won't be doing live music like the prior venues, and it'll probably be open more daytime to regular evening times, 10 o'clock, no late nights. They did say they'd like to do a bigger grand opening later this month to really kick it off, in which case they may have a mariachi band for that, but otherwise no live entertainment. And so, yes, I'd like to thank Melissa Hernandez from the Northern Kane County Chamber of Commerce who put on a great event. It was wonderful walking in and seeing Trustees Hoff, Schatzberger, and Thomas there, as well as Clerk Bree, who took some great pictures and posted it all on Facebook to share with everybody. The food was delicious. Then following that day, on Thursday, we had a finance committee meeting. Trustee Hoff, they were discussing revenue. We'll get an update during his report. And just a fun little side note, I went to a wedding this past weekend. It was for a former Sleepy Hollow resident. She was the bride. While there, I ended up talking so much about Sleepy Hollow and just how much, like, what's going on there, that the next day when we came back for the family barbecue, a couple came up and told me that they're already planning their trip out here for Halloween to see the bonfire because they couldn't believe that there's such a charming little event put on by the service club. They were captivated with the Headless Horseman. And then on top of it, when we were at the market in the Hollow just yesterday, who should walk up but the same couple, because they were coming through on their way out of town just to see the market that we've been talking about. So it was fun to see somebody. They're from Louisville, Kentucky, so not locals, but just to know that Sleepy Hollow still has its charms and draws people in is pretty cute. Which then brings me to the market in the Hollow. This was the first market for the second season. Neither of them are here, but a big thank you to Christine Fuqua and Lindsay. Again, they put together a dynamic market, and I love seeing that there were even more vendors, more people showed up despite the wet, cold start. Great vendors. Many of them will be returning for the 4th festivities, but that's not the technical market in the Hollow. The next market in the Hollow will be August 9th, so please come out and join. The Service Club, John was there. They're selling tickets for the upcoming Sleepy Hollow Homes Tour, which is on August 8th. That's 8th. And tickets are $35 for a single?
30 and 50.
30 for a single, 50 for a couple. Please go onto the Facebook pages, the websites, sign up, get a chance to tour some of these beautiful homes in August. We also had other nonprofits, Fox Valley Public Libraries there. They'll be there every market to celebrate their 150th anniversary. And then a new group that I hadn't heard of was International Cultural Exchange Services. And they help find foreign exchange students and help find homes, families to set them up with. I know I always wanted to do it when I was in high school, and my cousins had a foreign exchange student at their place. If you're interested, if you know anybody who's interested, we have their information here, or yeah, I've got their card. We'll leave it at the front desk, but it's always a fun opportunity to expand and learn something about other cultures and give other people opportunities. And lastly, I'd just like to thank all the residents who took their time to stop by and meet with me. I was there to greet and talk to people. We will have a better table set up next time, but I had a list of 30 names and things that we discussed with people stopping by and talking. One person came up and was telling me how they didn't want sheds, just as another guy introduced himself saying he wanted sheds. I introduced them, they chit chatted, ended up hugging at the end. We've had others asking questions about 1601 West Main, provided them that we still are waiting to learn about that. Others asked about golf carts, ATVs, all sorts of things. So thank you, folks. We'll be there every market in the Hollow, and I'd invite the trustees. We can probably only do one at a time because of OMA. But if you'd like to join me, please feel free to email me. I'll keep a list and we'll, get you out there so we can answer questions and engage with the residents. I believe that, and that is it for my president report. There's a lot there.
So you aren't gonna cover anything?
Oh, shoot, thank you. I'm gonna have that. I had that in the email. Thank you, Colleen. Let me pull that up. There we go. So with respect to the individual on Stevens Court and the loud septic system there, we've been in a meeting. I had spoken with Chief back in May, asking that he have the officers take multiple decibel readings of this septic system that is emitting a louder, higher frequency noise. We wanted to see if it did actually meet a noise violation, the noise violation ordinance. We got a chance to talk last week at the finance committee meeting with the results, and we'll reach out to the residents about that. But from there, the second issue that I needed to resolve before moving forward with it has to do with, we didn't have a building official and we weren't sure what kind of remedies were available to mitigate that sound that was coming from the septic system. Now that we have a building official, I'd like to get Dan out, come out there, see what fits with our ordinance. There's talk about building a stone wall, but you can't necessarily have structures out in the yard. But then there's talks about temporary solutions. So having somebody with that necessary knowledge, as we've been reminded we need, I'd like them to be out there so that we can just come up with a solution and then they can move forward, because the neighbors are agreeable to coming up with something to block some or mitigate some of that sound.
I have a question.
Can
Did
I
it
finish,
reach
please?
the
Thank you.
decibel readings? Did it go over the decibel?
I wasn't-
reading?
It did not, no, there's no noise violation.
Okay, so my next question is then why are we getting involved in it then? It should be between the neighbors, then, it's my understanding, and that was my understanding from the very beginning when I was involved in this a couple of years ago.
I'm just following through with it. So then for the golf property, I've spoken with Attorney Schuster. He's coordinating with Administrator Van. And we want to resume contact with the Gulls. We met with them last fall. There have been some multiple proposals over the years. It seems that their current proposal is very similar to the prior ones. So we'd like to move forward so we can reconcile the zoning issue that happened 30 plus years ago. And then lastly, your third item with conversations with the residents who invoke or mention attorney or legal action. You mentioned to me yesterday that I had a discussion. I have not had a chance to go back through the emails to see where that discussion was, but I will follow up with Attorney Schuster and get back to you.
Okay, that's I can tell you that was on, hold on a second. Bear with me. Attorney Schuster at a board meeting on March 8th, Attorney Schuster billed us on 3/6 per the email from me, which was not, I never sent him an email. I came to talk to you
On
about it.
February email.
I never sent an email. I came to you when this resident mentioned attorney and court. And you told us in the very beginning, as did former President Pickett, once a resident invokes that, we need to step away. when I addressed it with you, you said, oh, I'll talk to the resident. I said, shouldn't you talk to Attorney Schuster? You said you would talk to the resident. Then I saw the bill from Attorney Schuster that stated, per my email, I never sent you an email. I talked to you about it. So then on 3/8 at the meeting, you said that you would let me know what was decided from Attorney Schuster and the discussion you had with Attorney Schuster. I never heard from you since March, when you stated that. So I'm just trying to find out, because then you, in your email, you said you were gonna discuss with Attorney Schuster. Well, you've already discussed it, so I'm trying to find out. Now we're gonna get charged again when you have to go back and discuss it with him. So I'm just trying to find out what was discussed back that he billed us for per this question I have had to you, because I have not heard from you or Attorney Schuster regarding this.
I do not know how to, I don't have an answer for you at the moment. The email that was sent was on February 24th from you to Brian, to the individual. And you had copied Eugene Van, myself, Clerk Ree, and Attorney Schuster. So I assume that's what he's responding to about your email.
Okay, but when I talked to you, you said not to worry about it. You would talk to Attorney Schuster.
I'm
when I
focusing on one
asked-
thing at a time with the February and then the bill. So
Okay.
that's where I think the email came from, was February 24th. I will follow up with him and I'll get back to you. We're working on. We haven't been able to follow through with the shed committee because we haven't had a building official or P and Z meetings. There are other things that have taken priority. I can follow up with him and we'll get back to you.
But
I don't have an answer for you, Trustee Thomas.
Could I answer you something here?
Actually, I'm wrapping up the president's report, so if you could save it for yours, that would be, thank
Will
you,
do.
thank you. All right, so I've answered the 3 questions that I said I'd bring up in the president's report. I've covered my list. Clerk report, please. No report. Thank you. We will have a building official report hopefully at the next meeting Dan Straight. No attorney tonight, no engineer tonight. Village administrator report, you do.
Would request a motion for the approval of warrants in the amount of $249,863.40.
Do I have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Cannelli, seconded by Diatley. Comments, questions, or discussion?
Some questions,
Please.
regarding the billing from, Mr. Schuster. Just curious, if instead of being billed for miscellaneous items, they could be pointed out as to exactly what the miscellaneous items are that we're being billed.
Each individual thing is listed exactly what they're billing. It's just under a catch-all category for their billing system. So miscellaneous matters at 101.001.
Yeah,
That's just their accounting for anything miscellaneous that is not an ongoing situation. Most of these are one-off type things, rather than having to,
And then the itemized time.
right, and it's itemized with the time and it gives the amount. It gives you the date, the attorney's
so under the
initials.
services rendered section, that is what those miscellaneous items.
Yes, those are each one of those particular things. Now, then you have other sections that, like, if he attends a specific meeting or whatever, that's given a different category. Then the other section that's being billed is for the police department. So these are all police department related matters. And there's also a prosecution section. So this is all just the way they break down their bill.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that.
The one invoice, that's, I think, the third page of his invoices. It appears that it's just miscellaneous matters with a grand total, but that's just totaling of the 2 pages before that have been itemized.
Okay. Thank you.
Any further questions, discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger.
Aye.
Trustee Thomas.
Aye.
Trustee Cannelli.
Aye.
Trustee Diatley.
Alright,
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, progress report for 1001 Main. I contacted Barb. She says that the EIS has approved the elevator, and right now she is in the plan review process for the place. So they're continuing on, it's moving forward. I also talked to, George from Carpentersville. They are having, problems with a contractor who, had obtained a building permit within the village. They are not using the proper materials, not using the proper techniques, and so they are going to seek enforcement action against the contractor. We also received an anonymous, complaint that there was, construction work going on Crane. I went and put a stop work order on it, got in contact with them, and what they're just doing is just disaster repair. They had, water damage, and they're just repairing the water damage, so there was no building permit required. To date, I just did another one today. We've got, our fourth senior freeze request that has been approved. One of them has not yet been approved. They just applied and they have not gotten the approval yet from the county. When they get the approval from the county, then we will, then give them a discount. And this is the fourth one, so we have, well, potentially 5 right now, but four have been approved. Something that I've been working on probably since I've gotten the last 5 years, and we're this close to getting it done. It's with Government Window and, MSI, our utility billing company. So what people will be able to do is to be able to log on to the internet and actually see their account balance. They can pay right on that site. They can set up automatic payments. They can also pay with an e-check. Again, there's similar costs to using court money and stuff like that, but they can actually have it set up to do automatic payments and stuff like that. And it's at no cost to us. And then the the resident or whatever, if they use that service, would then just have to pay, the standard fee that they would, similar to, like I said, with court money. But again, the big thing about it is that, they'll be able to actually see what their current balance is for that day. And,
When's that going to affect?
well, we're there, I just reviewed the website and I gave them feedback on the websites for both, the customer facing and for our facing. I've got it out with, Wendy and Sharon to look at it and give me some feedback. So we're, hopefully within the next month or so, we should be online.
Good to see movement on that. I know you've worked on it.
It's been very
So, yeah,
frustrating.
good to see
There-
movement on that.
There was a programming problem between MSI and Government Window,
Right.
and it just took them a long time to get it resolved.
Good.
So,
It's called Government Window.
Government Window, yes. And I think that's all I've got.
So I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
ma'am. The 1001 Main,
Mhm.
got the elevator approved. Is there any idea when they could open?
I have not gotten an opening date. They still have to build out, and Barb is reviewing the plans right now.
This is with the new,
The Delhi banquet, so, yeah.
the new group that they hired, right? Did they had hired a second architect?
Architects, yeah. There were problems between the architect and engineers going back and forth. Any other questions?
I just hope after that elevator happens that we
There
don't
is
see
hope.
movement.
Yeah.
Because it's caused a lot of angst in the community.
I know they're probably anxious to get it going too.
Yep. Make some money on it.
Yeah, and a lot of money right now.
Anything further? Anyone?
No, that's it.
Thank you. Moving on to comments from the public. Hans Mann, please.
I'm just trying to find out an update again. I haven't been notified of any updates of what's going on with Metronet and what are we doing with the easement. And I'm just trying to figure this out because every 3 days they come out and mark my lawns and I keep taking flags out because they just keep adding and adding and adding. And I just want an answer and figure this out.
Thank you. We're voting on it tonight.
I saw that.
Pete Vernon.
Well, you know, I wanna start tonight, I wanna applaud the trustees. Every one of you. You're doing the hard work. Makes Sleepy Hollow better. You came here committed to that job to make it better. Trustees have been doing the heavy lifting, you've been doing all the legwork. Talk to you and I hear what you're digging into and trying to find the answers. You stood up and you made the hard call. Wasn't popular. You didn't want it, but it was necessary. You found the courage to do it. So kudos to you for it. You're getting it done. Well, tonight, I'm gonna ask the trustees to again stand up for the residents. It was rightly pointed out by Director Killinger at the last board meeting, the next big issue facing the village is roads. And at the last board meeting, trustee Kennelly suggested having the village engineer begin work so that we may be prepared to apply for road grants in the next cycle. It was nice to see that, you know, another source of the county is available and that's going to be pursued in terms of funding. There are far too many years we've been relying solely on MFT funds to patch bits and pieces of the roadways. And as we see, the funds are dropping every year in deference to the needs of Chicago, other fun places. But the good news is there are state and federal grants for road work available, and they're available every year. But I think it's been a disservice to the residents who have failed to seek out and apply for these grants. By applying for the grant funds, we enhance the ability to properly maintain our village without increasing the tax burden on residents. And many of these grants do not require matching funds. Not all of them, as you even heard tonight in some of the counties that they want matching funds, but they're out there. So I'm asking during tonight's new business agenda, trustees make a motion to include discussion and approval to direct the village engineer to develop a pavement management report. That's a strategic document that's used to assess road conditions, predict future deterioration, and prioritize budget allocation for street maintenance and reconstruction. Properly drafted, that document will be critical in creating road grant applications. So I'm asking the trustees to make a motion for inclusion of that item in the agenda for the next scheduled board meeting.
Thank you, Pete. Debbie Vernon. Oh, you need a hand. There's a handout. If not.
Hello, my name is Debbie Vernon. I live at 821 Locust Drive, Sleepy Hollow, as a May 24-year resident, so I can change my little bio. If it matters. I have a background in local government accounting, 16 years in Illinois, 4 years in Wisconsin. I want to read this. I did see the Village of Sleepy Hollow put a Facebook post out this afternoon. The public hearing for 1601 West Main was scheduled for June 22nd and has been postponed. A meeting between the petitioners and the village will occur on the 22nd, and an update will be provided after that meeting. Thank you. And it looks in President Bowe's report today, she said who would be attending this meeting on the 22nd, so that was covered. And Mr. Trustee Huff had noticed that the sign was still there. You know, we drove by there on the way just to make sure, and yes, it's still there. And in the property, the public notice for the June 8th meeting went up 5/21/26 in the publication. So that sign should have been up there on or about the 21st and then taken down the 8th or even sooner if it was canceled. So I guess it's going to be taken down when Ryback takes it down, is the way I understood.
Jesus.
Oh, because he's not the owner of the property.
It's contingent.
Oh, contingent, okay.
Contingent, whatever the contract is.
Oh, okay. All right, so another point, residents, I feel, are looking for answers about this proposed storage facility. But first, a change in the rules to even allow this for a special use has to be done. That is the first part of the variations.
In fall 2025, the Sleepy Hollow Board voted to remove a storage facility as a possible special use that could be applied for. There's so many questions. Why was the public notice for June 8th was published, but the meeting was not held and it was canceled? I did find some information out tonight, but I had already written this out. Then the new public hearing was to be scheduled on June 22nd, but it was never published in the newspaper or posted by the required 15 days before June 22nd. So that meeting cannot happen. Obviously, now it's not happening. So many questions again by residents. And then we didn't find the answer really until today. It seems like it's chaos. It seems like it's chaos, the way that they are handled, in my opinion. Why is this happening? Remember the saying no to storage facility that was presented to the village board and plan commission at many, many meetings during the public comments in the period January through April 2025, with 425 plus households in Sleepy Hollow saying no. And then the current petitioner, Timothy James, he pulled his application out for personal reasons right after the plan commission denied all of his variances and before the Sleepy Hollow board was going to vote. In my opinion, most likely it was to agree with the plan commission. That might have been the vote from the board, but we don't know. This is important. Around the first or second week of the June, the village of Carpentersville, who was doing a zoning review by their planning professionals on behalf of Sleepy Hollow, they recommended denial of all the variances of this proposal. Documents from a FOIA that was received state. I'm going to read what the FOIA says. So recommended denial for all the requested action. 1601 West Main Street, Sleepy Hollow. From the zoning review from the village of Carpentersville requested by Sleepy Hollow as they were asked to perform this. The source is a FOIA request that we received 6/2/26. It says the recommendation based on staff's analysis of the village's comprehensive plan, the future land use designation of the property, the current zoning code, and the existing conditions of the surrounding area, staff recommends denial of the proposed special use permit, text amendments, and variations. It does say, while staff recommends denial of the proposed project, the final decisions rests with the planning and zoning commission and the village board. What I want to know is, why is this still dragging on by the village of Sleepy Hollow? I think things can be better. I don't see transparency and strong leadership in this. I personally encourage fellow residents to contact your village president, trustees, and administrator with your comments and concerns. Am I up? So this is the example I gave. This is best practices. You don't talk, you have a pre-construction or pre-meeting, and then everything else is done in writing and in public meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. All right, moving on to trustee reports. Trustee Pinelli with roads, parks, and streets, please.
All right, I will try to be concise, but I have a feeling the way things came together for me this afternoon, I might feel a little bit all over the board, so hang in there, there'll be a test later. To your point, Mr. Vernon, about a study on roads, it has already started, well, within the village. So I worked with Kyle and Jeff Steele to get the history of all the roads, when they were done, etc. So we built that since our last meeting. And then I have to give it to Kyle because he went over and above, and he sent this today. Attached is the distance of every street in Sleepy Hollow, along with the last time we repaved each street with rough estimates. Some streets I couldn't find a date. Also keep in mind that asphalt cul-de-sacs are going to be more expensive than the numbers that were provided. Let me know if you have any questions regarding my calculations. Looking forward to hearing from you and setting up a date that we can meet in person to discuss this year's street program and then create a priority list and also find ways to receive federal and state funding. And then he attached a spreadsheet that is 80 lines long, shows the year of last paved, and it shows the cost of repaving on each one of those. So we're making some progress. Um. So that we got, and then, I spoke with, via Zoom with Suzanne Ness the other day. She, I started by thanking her for I think it's the DECO grant, is that correct?
Yeah.
And started with letting her know how appreciative we were of that. She, understands our problem. She didn't give me all the details, which I found out a little later after talking to Don DeWitt's office, and it might have something to do with Republicans versus Democrats, but, she said she will see what she could do. She said a lot of the money that's available now is already earmarked. So I don't know that we're gonna be able to do anything in a short period of time, but she and I will stay in touch. She has asked her staff to start doing some investigation and to get back to me. I have to leave town tomorrow, but she is going to be at the Bigsby Coffee tomorrow from 9 to 10, I think it is. And it would be great if, I can't go, but I think it'd be great if anybody is available, just to stay in touch. Let her know that, we appreciate her helping our village and, the right things, saying the right things, if we go a long way. Along with that, I spoke with Don DeWitt's office today. I sent them an email on the 24th of May, but it turns out they're short-staffed and they didn't get to it. I ended up knowing the person that I spoke to personally. I've known her for years. She's gonna speak to the senator tomorrow. He will be at the Rack House Center on the 17th from 10 till 2. The reason he's going there, this is interesting, is to talk to residents about the state of Illinois has $5 billion in unclaimed property. So how do we get our hands into some of that $5 billion that's unclaimed someplace? But again, I'm just saying, if anybody is available, I won't be in town, just to shake hands again and let him know that we're here. His assistant will be speaking to him tomorrow when he's in the office. She also told me that in the current Illinois budget, they just took out $150 million of road money and put it elsewhere. So the coffers are reduced by $150 million in road funds. It's a game that gets played because the person in charge of roads also has other affiliations, and while there was supposed to be a lockbox on that money, it's being moved around. So $150 million, it's helping somebody's budget, I guess. So we have that and that. And then I go over to my next coverage. So Suzanne, Don DeWitt, that conversation will be taken tomorrow, and I know he'll hear back from her. I've had a resident contacted Kyle, who then contacted me about the conditions of Surrey. That road is really in tough shape. I talked about that at our last meeting, but I did contact that resident. He understood the situation and he's agreed to take a different route. So I think that's interesting that he has decided he'll take different streets and avoid his teeth jangling up and down Surrey. Friday, Jeff and I will meet with Kyle and we'll start talking about the road plan. On the parks, I wanted to talk to Kyle, I didn't have a chance, but the pool is supposed to be demoed. And we have provided through various sources back to West Dundee's Park District what code calls for in terms of demoing a pool, which is obviously shutting off gas, electric, plumbing, all that, but also the bottom of the pool needs to be removed, as well as the sides of the pool, and the deck has to be filled with clean clay and blacktop and grass. And that is what West Dundee is planning to do. The Bonkoski bike path is officially off the table. It is way too expensive for West Dundee to take on right now. So we will be also not being addressing that, because without them doing what they need to do from an ADA standpoint, there's no sense in us approaching that right now. And I believe that covers it.
And Bill, what was the price tag you said West Dundee had for the bike path? It's not something we can take on ourselves. It was close to
$135,000.
what's that?
It's like $135,000.
Yeah, and
Yeah, we're not.
just want to share, like, it's not just that we're cutting it off, it's
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes, well, we're, yeah, because they can't handle their portion currently, we should, we'll move on.
Trustee Kelly, the Big B coffee, is that the one on 72 or the one on Randall?
Randall. Where's one I said?
That's 25.
Oh, okay, yeah, this is the one I ran.
Just make sure if people want to go, they know where to go.
Yep,
Thank you.
2168 Randall Road.
Anything further?
Yes, you mentioned it at the president report, just a couple of things. It seems to me like this, from what I've heard about this septic issue, is if there's no violation, why aren't we out of it and as a neighbor, the neighbor issue to resolve?
It was addressed with the prior administration as not a village issue. It was brought to me by a trustee to follow up with it during the campaign. We thought there was some ways to fix it, without having any records from the prior administration to verify that there was no decibel. There wasn't a noise violation. We just got that data this past month. So didn't have that confirmation. We reached out to the former building official and did not get any documentation for it.
Okay, well, it sounds like, is it as simple then as B and Z selling to the neighbors? This is not an issue from the village standpoint. There's no violation from a noise ordinance. You guys have to find a neighborly way to fix it. Rather than us spending
That may
money.
be where it's going right now. We just got the information. I just responded to trustee Thomas. So,
Beautiful.
sorry, I don't have an
Nonetheless-
answer for you on that specifically right now.
Okay, it just seems like we should be able to wash our hands, but no. Septic, wash your hands, no. 1601, I don't understand, why would we be having meetings with 3 people and the Jameses?
I don't understand why would.
You said that you, Van, yourself, and trustee Thomas will be meeting with them, and is there an agenda, or what is the purpose? of
It's not,
this?
I'm sorry, it's not a meeting. It is, they're coming in to talk to us to discuss the project or the proposal.
Is that something that should go through P and Z?
Well, it does when they come forth with the application, when the application is submitted and there's a public hearing.
So they're coming forward with an application, that's the purpose of the meeting?
They,
have an application. Here's an application.
This is part of staff review.
I don't want it. Can't hear.
Okay, so
He said
that's
it's part
the
of staff,
process then.
staff review. In the sequence from application submittal, then there's an arrow down to staff review. So the staff will be the coordinated trustee, administrator.
I just didn't know.
Thank.
Okay, so I'm looking at this organizational chart of how this flows. Okay, thank you.
And any
It's not
development,
ours, but
Yeah.
it would fall under Stafford.
yeah, if a development or anybody comes in, I mean, we have meetings with them. It's not on us to say yes or no about a project. It's they come in, they submit an application. We can answer questions, we can have review, discuss it with them. Then they submit it before P and Z, they vote on it, then from there, or recommend or don't recommend, and then from there it goes before the board. I'm not in any position to say yes or no one way or another, neither the trustee nor the administrator.
Okay, I just
So it's just a review points.
understood. Thank you.
Anything else?
No,
Thank you. All right, finance, trustee Hoff, please.
All right, update for everybody at our finance committee meeting last Thursday on the 11th. The big item from that agenda was the discussion of implementing an amusement tax. What the village is experiencing is a shortening of the revenue that we've enjoyed prior from cable. And people are cutting their cable in big numbers. MetroNet, from what Kyle said, is penetrating about 40% in the village now. And faster speeds, it just is leaning into us trying to find another a revenue source to replace the one we had in the past. So I presented it to the committee. The committee accepted it. And what I delivered to them was the actual ordinance that was written by an attorney at Compton Hills. Also, a list of all the streaming providers that are in this country with addresses and contact numbers for the majority of them. Also, the cover letters that we would send to them, telling them, hey, here's our ordinance, we've approved it. And we need you to start collecting X% on all of our Sleepy Hollow customers. At some future date, so. It seems very plug and play. I know we're creating a burden on our very short staff here. And I'm willing to offer up any help that you may need in stuffing envelopes and confirming addresses and phone numbers and talking to people. But it now rests with it's gonna be up for a vote here at the new business for us to approve as a board to have Schuster review the ordinance to see if we're in compliance. I have a good feeling about it. I think it is a burden, but once we get these letters out to all of these 60 vendors, the money will start coming into us and we can then bolster back that cash that we've lost. So that's the amusement tax. Courtney, right after that meeting, you had sent me an email in regards to food preparation tax.
That's what I think Catherine was talking about during the committee meeting.
And I've got Bill Zizokos on it, as you directed. So we will be talking about that this week. And it's not gonna be as much as the amusement tax, because we don't have a lot of restaurants, but every little bit helps. And if we can implement that without too much burden, we will certainly do so. Also, on a very positive note here, there is a resident in Sleepy Hollow, Wolfgang and Hannelmore Dangle, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. They live in Paula Court, and last year they donated some of their money to the village. And now this year, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Have you? Okay, fantastic. He and his wife are donating $300 to our police department with a letter of thank you for all they've done. And also the Public Works Department is going to receive $200. So his intention is to say thank you and to allow the police department and or Public Works to utilize that to take care of the employees that have done so well for us over the year. So I think that's a great gesture on their part. It's the second year they've done that. And it just warms your heart that people are doing things like this so we can stay in.
There's another one last year.
They've actually done it every year I've been here. They've done it 5 years. in a
Oh
row.
my goodness. Well, I was never made aware of it until last year, so it's good to know, Chief. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was the last name?
Dangle, Dangel. His first name is Wolfgang. The wife's name is Hannelmore, HANNELMORE. And I've met with them. Great couple. So that was all I have for finance at this point.
I'd like to have a question about the food tax.
Yep.
How's this gonna be applied in where? On a restaurant?
Correct. Probably Dunkin' Donuts and tacos and tequila.
Well, I was there the other day and the food is very good and I also paid tax, so.
Well, this just came up today, though.
This was brought up actually while we were discussing the mobile food vendor licensing ordinance back in March.
Okay.
In investigating that, I came across Pingree Grove's fixed food vendor ordinance. And they had last year or the year before implemented I think it's a 2% prepared food tax. More suited towards food vendors, I think, as opposed to restaurants, since restaurants tend to have more of an established, I think they have an established tax through the state. And it had to go through a referendum. It's a non-home rule. Pingree Grove's non-home rule for this. But while we were looking at figuring out the mobile food vendor, or if we were doing a fixed location, this was just an option I came up with, sent it to the finance committee. And then one of the finance committee members brought it up at the last meeting. So we're just looking at it again. I mean, we don't have the mobile food set up or the food vendor set up just yet, but.
Okay, so it's not restaurants, we already did that.
I don't know. That's what we're looking into the clarifying out, reaching out to Pingree to find out.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is the spot, but tomorrow I will be meeting with the owner of Tacos and Tequila to discuss with her
Oh, Alma.
the tax rate that she is charging. We have something to talk about there.
So
I'll
so our
report
plans
back.
for the grand opening of one. Thank you. Anything else?
I got one. I went there too. Nope, that's it for me.
Thank you. Water and sewer, trustee McGuire is not here. Police and public safety, trustee Diatley.
Several things. We'll talk about the actuarial study and new business. Actually, I'd like to call on Chief to share a letter that he received from a person on Officer Peace.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride when somebody takes time to actually send a letter in, complimenting one of our officers. That's, not many people write letters today to begin with. But we received a letter from a resident who's actually, the call was in West Dundee. Our officer backed up West Dundee's officer on the call. And I'll read you basically what this person wrote. She addressed it to me. She said she wanted to take a moment to recognize and praise Officer Jeremy Peace for going above and beyond for her son regarding an incident that occurred in April at her home. She said, in a time when positive interactions deserve to be acknowledged, Officer Peace demonstrated professionalism, patience, and genuine care for the community. He was extremely respectful and patient, giving my situation with my son's challenges. Her son is in his 20s, autistic, in addition to other diagnosed conditions. Officer Peace quickly understood the situation at hand and kept things under control for both sides, my son and the authorities. Not only did he assist me in getting the information requested by the other West Dundee officer, but he also went out of his way to suggest state services that would help my son. Officer Peace went over and above to provide useful information that could potentially help my son in the future. All the issues we have had over the past 15 years, Officer Peace is the first officer to go out of his way and offer suggestions that could potentially be life-changing for my son. So again, and the letter goes on, but just again, I bring this to let people know that these are the types of officers that we're looking for. These are the types of officers that we are seeking out, hiring, and want to keep there. I've also drafted a memo that's going to Officer Peace. Recognize I didn't bring it up the last meeting because I wasn't here, and I don't like to just put something out there if I can't personally bring it forward. So there's going to be something going in Officer Peace's file for this, and I'm going to talk to him personally again.
Great, thanks, Chief. The other thing is we are working on several things. We're looking at an ordinance that would limit chief trucks on Locust.
One of the issues we've had over the past is trucks coming off of 72, going down Locust and then going on Willow. So I've actually reached out to former Chief Linnane, who's our former chief, who is probably, if not one of the most foremost experts on traffic enforcement or trucks, especially in the state of Illinois, teaches classes all over. So I reached out to him, we got together. He provided me some information, and I've got an example of changing our ordinance with signage, everything we need. So I'm going to be bringing that to the board to have Locust marked as no truck traffic, the same thing that we've got on Bonkowski and Sleepy Hollow Road. Nothing over 12,000 pounds, essentially. I've also got a study that he provided me with that shows the damage that trucks do on secondary roads, and how this could cost the village money over the years. So that'll be coming forward most likely by the next meeting. We're going to have just Attorney Schuster review the ordinance is already written. He just has to review it. So that'll keep the expense to a minimum, but hopefully we can get that done and get it signed and get it in place sooner than later.
Excellent. Thank you. We'll talk about, like I said, the actuarial study and new business. Anything else, Chief? Or?
Just very quickly, I did a traffic study. I don't engage on Facebook. I try not to, for obvious reasons, but I do hear when people are complaining about speeders in certain areas of town, things like that. So I did a traffic study on, the last one I did was on Winmore. I did 2 different periods. I wanted to make sure that I captured the traffic on Winmore when school was in session, and then I wanted to wait until school was not in session. So I had some comparative data. essentially what the data is showing is that we don't have a speeding problem on Winmore. I know the appearance by a lot of people is that there's cars flying up and down Winmore, but the data doesn't show that. I can tell you that the vast majority of cars, just to give you two quick numbers. So in one period of time, which was May 11th through May 17th, there was 1,865 total vehicles during that period of time. Out of the 1,865 vehicles, 1,353 of them were traveling at under 34 miles an hour. So the vast majority are traveling under 34 miles an hour. From May 29th to June 7th, which is a little longer period of time when school was out of session, we had 2,054 vehicles. And 1,718 of those were traveling under 34 miles an hour. So a very small percentage of the vehicles were traveling at higher speed. Well, what the numbers do tell me is I can now kind of zero in using our traffic box on the times that some of those numbers are a little bit higher. So now we can dedicate some of our officers to go out and be more focused, to try and kind of tamp it down even a little bit. So, but those are the types of benefits we get when we use technology or leverage technology to help us do our job.
Thank you, chief. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Gallo.
Building and Environment, trustee Schatzberger.
I do not have
Trustee Thomas, Building and Zoning Enforcement.
Couple of things, I would like to thank Tim for putting me in touch with Dawn, and I can't even pronounce her last name, but she was very helpful in getting us to, or helping us to put the Market in the Hollow sign up in front of the fire department. So thank you very much and she's gonna help us do that every time we have a Market in the Hollow. It's pretty simple. I gave her what we needed, and she got approval from the chief, and it was up the next day after, because it was we had storms, so they lost power. So they couldn't do that, so they had a little issue there. The other couple of things, I know President Bo, you talked about you're gonna talk to Attorney Schuster, but about this with the sheds, and if we can talk to the person, but I would appreciate a call back, because I still have not gotten a call back from you in regards to the golf property. Back in January, we had a meeting with Eugene and Mark and you and myself regarding a couple of things, but one of them was the golf property, how it was currently zoned. You were gonna set up a meeting with the Gall family and myself. I never heard back from you on that, and so we're 6 months out, and I start bringing it to everybody's attention. It should have been addressed back then. It was not, and the work could have started back then on getting it rezoned instead of 6 months out. So that's I'm glad to see that's happening, but I think it could have gone further. In regards to the noise issue from the septic system, I had been working on this back when I first became a trustee, and worked with President Pickett and Barb Detmer, and they told me that there was no decibel reading. After that, I got with Jeff Steele. We provided information to help with the noise abatement, but it just kind of went to the wayside with the election. I then brought President Bo in to get her feedback, because she was former sewer and water and septic stuff, so I was trying to get some feedback from her, and then she took over for it. And so I had not been involved in it till recently, when the resident asked me, because she met with President Bo in April. I was not involved in that meeting, so I couldn't help with anything, but she wanted to know why she hadn't heard from President Bo with any information. Again, I understand we're all busy, but a phone call back to these residents would be, I think it would eliminate a lot of the angst amongst the residents instead of waiting months and months to get an answer. So that's, my concern. I agree with, trustee Kennelly that because there's no sound, we aren't breaking any sound barrier or anything like that, that it should be up to the residents to figure it out. We've got other things on our plate and we've provided the information, with Jeff Steele and Courtney, you've had the information. I gave that to you a long time ago. We've given that to the resident. It's up to them to talk to the resident where this septic system is and work it out with them. Because somebody needs to call them and say, it's not over the sound.
It's the decibel.
The decibel marker.
Not a violation. But
It's not a violation, so instead of waiting, somebody needs to call them and say, it's not above, there is nothing the village should be involved in regarding that. And then, again, I know you said to let you know by Monday, I think it was, but I'm letting you know, again, I would rather stay as, planning and zoning trustee. And then at the market, I know you were out there by yourself, and I agree that, I think it would be nice to have a trustee out there maybe every hour or whatever, because I had many residents stop me, talk to me, same as you, asking me questions, what's going on, why is this? Talk to me a lot about the water, main replacement. I told them, as a resident, I'm not happy about it either, but it was the best thing for the village to do. And Bill, I got a lot of compliments about you and the finance committee as a whole on the work that you have also put into this and continue to put in to the finances for the village. They're upset, but I just wanted you, and if you could pass on it to the committee. I get a lot of compliments about it.
Well, I just would like to, if I can,
Mhm.
tag on to that. Do we need to have a town hall meeting to keep educating people of why we've done that?
That was one of the
I mean,
things
if
that they,
anybody's
yes,
kind of lead you to that,
yes, that was the other
I'd be
thing
more
that
than happy to do that. I'd be more than happy to make appointments here,
they asked.
one-on-one with people.
Right.
I've received letters, I've called these people, they have not returned my call.
Right, they asked why, some of them asked why the letters didn't go out sooner. Prior, just letting them know, and I know it's on the website and it showed up on, it was out of our hands, we couldn't do anything about that. So they, I also asked them, would you like another meeting, not only about the water main replacement, but other things going on in the village, and they did. Many of the residents said, yes, that would be nice, because they appreciated the town hall that the chief has done in the past, when you did that, so it might be something that we think about, if there's something big going on, I know, Eugene, you had the appropriations meeting and there weren't that many, but anything big that we're all working on or is coming up, it might be nice to have a town hall meeting. We're gonna get complainers, but at least it's out there. We're making people aware of what we're working on. I had some good compliments to Chief and Steve about the new officers. And they really, people were really appreciative of the officers that are out there. They would ask about a meet again, and I told them you've been trying to do that for a few years.
Yes.
But, they thought it would be nice, and I was just wandering through, checking on things for Christine, and people stopped me and talked to me and stuff, so kudos to you guys for all of that. And the roads, Bill, I know that you're working on that. I told them that you are working on ideas for that, because some people were talking about their streets, and I'm like, oh, well, come look at mine. Come look at my cul-de-sac. But
You got a nice one, cool.
no, it's gone.
Okay.
It disappeared. I was gonna call you about that, but that's okay. No, yeah, it sunk. I think it blew away actually, so, the storm, but people were pretty appreciative of how this board has been working together and operating, so that's all I have.
Yes, a town hall was brought up with a lot of the residents. You know, we were trying to do one last fall. We ended up doing it later in the year. I was looking to put one back on. I didn't want to do it during the summer, so I was gonna touch base and see if we want to do end of summer, kind of recap going back into school or after Labor Day. So we'll get out to you guys and find out dates and how that could work out. Trustee Thomas, have you heard back at all from the potential new homeowner who was interested in the dog run? Any follow up on that?
No, I have not had a chance to do that, so we haven't, done that. The other question I had, sorry, regarding the meeting on the 22nd, are you gonna provide any information what this meeting is about? Because I have not been involved in any meetings whatsoever. This is the first one that you've asked me to, and I have no information why. I understand it's for staff review, but I have no information why this meeting was scheduled or what's gonna be discussed or anything.
And finding out from them about the public hearing and the application, they asked to meet with, they'd like to meet with us. I asked, would you like to meet with Eugene and Trustee Thomas? They said yes. We set up the meeting.
So we don't know what they wanna meet.
I don't resign, no. All right, moving on to old business.
Okay, we didn't do any on water and sewer officially.
Correct.
So I received these two letters in my inbox, in my
Oh,
mailbox.
those, yeah, copies that I had from the last.
Has anybody followed up?
Yes.
Okay, I spoke to Debbie today. She said she hasn't heard from anybody.
Okay.
And then I couldn't find the other person's number, it's dead. So. Anybody spoke?
He's the one, isn't she one of the ones that's?
Rose?
Administrator.
Yeah,
She's
she-
one of the applicants for
Yeah.
the water. Piece. You're the applicant for the,
No, I don't,
not the Debbie one,
that's Debbie.
Yeah,
She was the
the
former.
handwritten letter.
This is Rose.
Rose.
Yeah.
There wasn't any phone number on there.
There was no phone number. Her phone numbers, when I looked them up, when I Google searched them, they're no longer in effect, but I do know where she lives, so I can stop by. I just think someone should talk to her.
I thought
She's
she
looking
was,
for
I
a
thought she
senior
was on the
freeze.
senior freeze.
It's not this one.
Debbie,
This-
yes, Debbie's
she-
email.
She didn't act like she knew anything
Let
about
me
it.
see
She
this
just sent
one.
that letter. But if no, all I'm saying is, no one's talked about the here.
Yeah, I have not gotten
That's not the one.
I have not gotten any from.
She doesn't know anything about
Yeah.
senior freezes,
Got it.
so I'll deal with it. Well, she wasn't. No, she's not. She's not. Okay, this
No,
one.
Debbie used to work with Wendy in billing for the village.
All I'm getting at was nobody's contact.
Thank you. All right, old business. Discussion and motion to approve ordinance 2026-4, amending the regulations governing the operations of mobile food vendors in the village. Can I get a motion?
So moved, Diatley.
Second,
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thomas. All right, any comments, questions, or discussion on the ordinance?
I have not.
I have one question. So the mobile food vendors, and I've read through it and it's been a long day. I just wanted to clarify or ask. They can be at our like fests or whatever, but they have to leave the next day. They can't be on residential property unless someone comes and asks for the variance, like the people up on Acorn, you know, they have that block party and they've always had a couple food trucks. So I just want to make sure that we cover that's a specialty, like a one-off. But is that covered in the ordinance? Because I did not see it.
So we accounted for public and private property in here. And indicated that if you wanted to be on village property, you needed to come in and get approval from the administrator.
Okay.
Up with the block party you're talking about, if I recall correctly, I think that's a drainage easement or it's a village property in the middle. So in that case, they would want to come to the administrator for the block party to get permission for that section, but if it is their residence property.
Yeah, they were on the street, they weren't in that drainage area, they were on the street, so I just wanna make sure we cover them, so when they have their block party again, that they can.
Well, they're not allowed to stop on on the private residential street, so they would need to go into a driveway or into the yard, so it is kind of specifically allocated to a residence or a public or a village property. But that was one thing that was largely discussed originally with the first ordinance was we didn't want them stopping on the street or obstructing traffic. Now, is that
I
block
think
party, is
they-
the traffic cut off?
I think it is.
Okay, in
So
that
that's-
case,
I think
that's,
it is.
Yeah, they're barricaded.
Okay,
where we
so
can
then
walk.
That would account for
so
it.
then they're okay then. that
yeah,
way.
I mean, they still need to check in. or
Right.
Get the village approval or whoever the homeowner is that's running it,
Okay.
just so that we have
I
the
just-
property owners.
Right, I just wanna make sure that they're covered up there, cause I know that they do that, and then.
Yeah, everything should account for the service club events, block parties, even private, like graduation parties that they hire a truck to come out to cater for the event. Those should all be covered in here, and it is all specifically food trucks, and everything has to leave, not so much the next day, it has to leave by the end of business that day, so there'll be no overnights,
Ten to-
whether it's business or that's
Sunset,
sundown yet.
sundown.
It won't, I don't remember what I was saying right then, sorry. What, you said 10 to
They
sundown?
have,
Did you ask?
yeah, they have to be off the property, at sunset.
So the end of business. They would be violating. Ice cream trucks. So this would preclude them from being able to stop on the street. But I think that's also something we had discussed at the time that you didn't want the trucks being able to vend from the street. So
I don't see anything mentioned in there about collecting of sales tax.
Yeah, it was.
I'm sorry, the only thing in this, ordinance here were the changes to the operations, but sales tax isn't, so you, as you'll notice on the first page, it jumps from A to F. We just went into the operations of the sales. Changes from let's see, B, C, D, all that would be, we're staying the same. And there's sales tax, you have to have health, you have to have all the health code approvals and documents.
And that they would, they would work with. Director Van on any of that stuff if they, once they come in and they wanna get that.
Anything further? Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thomas to approve ordinance 2026-4, amending the regulations governing the operations of mobile food vendors in the village. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Hoff,
You said. Hold on. 2026-4. Did you say, Courtney?
Yes.
I see 3.
it was originally 3 on the last meeting, but it got tabled, so then we bumped it to 4 for this meeting.
Because we approved at 3 at the last meeting.
Thank you for the clarification.
And also on here, item C, that's a resolution, so they have the same number, but one's a resolution, one's an ordinance. Okay. So back to the vote.
Trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Connolly,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger,
Hi,
trustee Diatley,
All right,
trustee Thomas.
I,
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes, thank you. Item 13B, discussion and motion to approve the Sleepy Hollow Service Club outdoor programmable LED sign for display case in Sabatino Park as recommended by Planning and Zoning Commission. This was one that had been brought up. We took it to Planning and Zoning. Rich English was able to come in and speak to them to kind of share some insight on it. We had some concerns about brightness, but what he described is the screen from the display will be aiming out towards the park. So you won't really have there won't be any houses that would be disrupted by the display. Cars driving by, it's not a large display. It's really more for people who are over there walking around the park, walking on the street, taking strolls, fishing, passersby, just to give more information. They appreciated the offers and suggestions of other ways to get their message out, whether it's through Sleepy Hollow Elementary School or with the fire department. But with the number of things that they want to address, they did want their own sign. They have the funds for it. So the Planning and Zoning Commission did discuss it, and they do recommend that the board approve that it move forward. Can I get a motion and we can go into discussion?
I have motion to discuss.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Diatley for discussion from trustee Schatzberger.
So this will be an LED programmable work, basically like we have in front of the fire department, where they can change for different events that are going on, so they'll be able to update for each event.
Yes, and that was actually the premise that Rich had mentioned. He said, you know, we keep buying these signs to set up for the 4th of July or the Halloween. And this way it's something that they don't have to change constantly. Theirs is not as large as, obviously, it's the fire departments. It'll be just one layer, but it runs through, it's all the colors. They didn't want to look into any larger display at this time. And
So will they have it on at all times or only when they're having events going on? All times.
I mean, all times there will be notices or actually, John Florence, do you have any idea? Would you like to?
Good question. We'll discuss it tomorrow night, but I believe that it's wired in, is it wired in? Not so.
He said it'll turn it off at nighttime.
Yeah, I think it's all programmable,
Right.
so.
Excellent.
So that'll be great to get the word out to everybody who's traveling through Sleepy Hollow to get to the other side to West Dundee. Awesome, okay.
But you're gonna turn it off at night?
Yeah, they said they would turn it off at night, so it's not glaring into the fields.
And collecting mosquitoes and.
It's open for whoever wants to use it as well, if we're not using it.
So will you get rid of the rough sawn cedar one?
It'll fit inside there.
Or fit, okay,
Probably replace the plexiglass in the front and get something more UV resistant. But still utilize the front and the back for other things. This will just be at the top, my understanding.
For the record, we wouldn't be against the glaring light in the field at night.
you have a bunch of deer there at night.
It's easier to see the park if there's lights there.
My brother was doing night viewing there once and an officer came out and asked him what he was doing. He's like, it's really good dark light. Well, now he won't be able to. The dark stuff. All right,
Thank you, that answers my questions.
any further comments, questions, discussion?
No motion to.
Motion to approve. Trustee Diatley, do you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Second.
So, motion to approve the Sleepy Hollow Service Club outdoor programmable LED sign for display as recommended by PCC. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No resolution. Hearing none, all in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you, Service Club. Now, item C, discussion and motion to approve resolution 2026-4, approving a grant of easement for public utilities in the village. This is the item that we're discussing about Gale Lane and Hilltop Lane for MetroNet.
So moved Diatley.
It's a resolution, not an ordinance. Moved by Diatley, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Thomas. So this was brought to my attention by trustee Thomas back in March when MetroNet came out and flagged the property at 1142 Gale Lane. The way that the utility easements were drawn with Gale Lane, they are much closer to the homes than than one would assume with the easement and the drainage in the back. When we went to check it out, the original existing utilities there crossed over the property line by a couple of feet into village property out of the easement. So what we're doing here, we're not asking to do an extra, like create an extra easement, like was one of the original earlier proposals, but expand the utility easement we currently have back there by another 10 feet. That would make the utility easement correct and proper with the existing utilities that are in it. And then give MetroNet a little bit of leeway space to install their fiber optics, continue on, and then that's the last home stretch of MetroNet in the village, and it would be done. As you can see on what was in your packet, Engineer Steele went out, did a survey, added on, so it would be 10 feet of village property headed west. And in those particular easements, rather than splitting it 5 and 5 between your backyard neighbor and yourself, all of those residents, it's taken 10 feet out of their property. So we felt, trustee, Director Killinger and I felt it was a fair compromise to then grant the 10 feet from the village to just make the other utilities right and then get this all taken care of. Just enough.
In this plat of easement, it's dark shaded just for lot 73.
Correct.
Is that the only place we're gonna do the extra 10 feet, or we're gonna do all that?
No, it is just that part that juts out because the existing utilities already go out into the village property there. Everybody else is still aligned up just fine with their utility easement. And for that matter, the neighbors, some of the neighbors have been addressed with this, some others have no interest in it.
So it's just lot 73, we're gonna push out for the 10 feet.
So does that mean the original easement is this way? Then it goes out 10 feet and then it's gonna come back in?
Yes.
Yes.
Right on that little, and it's what's continuing at the north end of that and the south end of it is a continuation of the side easements that go along the house. So it's juts out along the side easement, and comes out, comes back in, and actually those side easements on the southern side is a big set of trees. And then it just continues its way along the utility and the greenway.
What did the planning and zoning look at this?
No, speaking with Attorney Schuster, it did not need to go before P and Z. It's like village owned property, and so is the engineer and Killinger, Director Killinger. And I asked, I thought it was supposed to as well. I thought we'd have to put it on the agenda, but it's assured not to, but.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
So they're gonna go through those pines,
Your Richmonds.
pines that are marked, and then kind of.
Well, the markings that exist are existing utility lines, so MetroNet will then go west of the existing, closer to the village property as opposed to private property. And so they'll go west of those existing lines and directional bore underneath. Maybe not. Which you're talking about the pines in the growth that's out in the village property? Yes,
No.
oh, which pines are you talking about?
Mine.
Oh, that's, but the ones that are out towards the edge of your property that kind of straddle. Yeah, they're going underneath. Yeah,
So where the existing marks are right now, and then they're gonna kind of.
just, yeah, a few feet
move
out
it
and
that
under.
way. Okay.
All right, any further discussion at this point?
So other neighbors are aware of it, there's no issue. Other.
Trustee Hawk?
I don't wanna belabor it, we've had this thing for so long. But I just have to say something, why didn't we just come out 10 feet for everybody? So it's consistent instead of the jog on one piece of property. You'd have to get approval from everybody. Yeah, okay.
This was the only resident that had an issue with that. And they're the only ones with an issue. It wasn't just a matter of that MetroNet is coming in and digging in their easement. It was existing structures there prior to this current owner. It was their septic field, utilities that had already been drawn. And then when we learned after the survey that it crossed over that line, this way we were comfortable saying we're not giving something, we're not creating an extra easement, but we're just correcting the easement, the utility easement so that everything is confined within that same space. And then that gives just enough give for the MetroNet installation on the west side.
When do you think MetroNet?
They're listening to the vote right now. They'll be ready
to. Spray paint today.
They were here this morning.
So there's no, I just wonder about unintended consequences of doing this. It seems, I'm getting the impression there's open space all around. This isn't gonna have any impact on another neighbor or somebody else's property.
No, this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people
Yeah.
impacted.
And actually, one of the biggest, no offense to Director Killinger, I completely understand where he's coming from. He had a bit of an issue with us creating new easements just because we have had that history in the past with prior public works directors of kind of making things up on individual bases. So the original kind of options we came up with of creating another easement down by the drainage area as opposed to close to the yards. That was, he wasn't quite comfortable with that and the side easements, but this one, he came out, walked the property with Trustee Thomas, myself and the homeowners.
Okay,
he's on board, thinks it's a good compromise and it fits within the continuity that he would like.
okay.
Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on to a roll call vote. This is a motion to approve resolution 2026-4, approving a grant of easement for public utilities in the village.
Trustee Connelly,
Yeah, no, what's? Yes, I.
trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger,
Aye.
trustee Diatley,
Aye.
trustee Thomas.
I,
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Metronet is looking forward to, they should be out. I would assume they'd want to be out tomorrow, but I think we'll probably touch base, but I will let you know as soon as we have a plan.
They're out there now with flashlights.
You come home, they're doing. So we're moving into new business. We do have 2 items under executive session. We could break now, or we could wait till the end of business. I think one is pertinent to an item under new business. We have a motion from the board. It would be for section 2C1 personnel and section 2C2 collective bargaining. That's the police and the. Oh, I did have you on there.
Are we gonna table? 14E?
That's what I just pointed
I
out.
just
to her.
realized we
I
did
know.
have her on there, so I can make that appointment
That's what I was thinking.
one of those days, Dan.
Jennifer Clerk. Yeah, who's she?
Who wrote that?
Did you get remarried or what?
That change.
All right. Well, let's move on to 14A then. Discussion and motion to approve ordinance 2026-5, fiscal year 2027 appropriation.
a motion to discuss.
Second, yeah,
Moved by Thomas, seconded by Diatley for discussion only. Please discuss. Trustee Thomas?
I was at the appropriations meeting and I have no questions really. I just think you did a great job in putting everything together, Eugene, and explaining it.
Any further discussion? Can I have a motion to approve the appropriations ordinance of 2026-5 fiscal year 2027 appropriation?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Kennelly, seconded by Thomas. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Diatley,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger, aye, trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Connelly,
Aye.
trustee Thomas.
Aye.
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Administrator Van, for the Appropriations and Finance Committee, and Trustee Hoff. Item 14B, discussion and motion to authorize Chief Parma to move forward with an actuarial study to assess IMRF for the village. This is what could potentially is falling under collective bargaining, since we're still working on a police union contract or the negotiations for the part-time. We already approved the full-time, but this being part of their retirement would fall into that. That's why we'd like to break into executive session briefly, or we could move on to item C and then go to executive session afterwards for that item. Come back to B.
Why don't we move on C and then go?
All right.
Yeah.
I will pause on B. So moving on to item C, discussion and motion to authorize Village Attorney Schuster to review and advise on creating a village amusement tax as recommended by the Finance Committee. This is what Trustee Hoff was mentioning earlier. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Thomas. Comments, questions, discussion, and actually Trustee Hoff, if you'd like to address that with everybody.
Anybody have any further questions?
No, it was
Kelly, you were
explained,
there,
yeah, I was there. It was
So it-
explained very well.
very self-explanatory.
So it would be just Dunkin' Donuts? that
No, no,
would-
this is amusement tax.
Amusement tax.
This is gonna be anybody that is, Spotify,
Oh, I'm
Hulu,
sorry.
all the streaming vendors out
And
there.
at this point, there's an ordinance that was written by, what was this?
Compton Hills.
Captain Hills.
James-
So it's already thank you, already created. We want to send it to the attorney, have him review, see, and actually it said if it was in compliance, it's more if it's compatible with our code, and then we can
And
just
we just-
adopt that and move forward.
Okay,
Administrator Van brought up during the meeting, he thought we should bring it to the board.
you guys can approve the like the expense of the attorney reviewing it?
Yep.
Was your idea? Okay.
Right, is this something that a road we wanna walk down?
I think it is a road we should walk down, but I am wondering. How much money, do we have any idea of how much money we've lost and how much money we could anticipate? Or the two are up to that.
Hold
You know, you don't know how many people in the village are signed up with so many different vendors.
We're losing about $2,000 a year in, conquest for TV revenue.
One supplier.
Yeah,
In I wrote down those numbers that you guys talked about, 59K in 2022 went to 56K in 23, 49K in 24. I missed the 25, I couldn't write fast enough, and 35K in 2026.
Okay.
And then they said that Compton Hills were surprised by what they collected. They weren't expecting to collect, but they collected over $200,000.
They're expecting to collect 200,000,
but
but they have,
twice the number of homes we have.
Right.
okay.
So this is.
But if we collect 50,
That's,
I mean, you can't leave that money on the table.
no,
You just can't.
And one of the points that was brought up by trustee Hoff was also interesting is cable was just the one entity that everybody,
Right.
they had their one. How many of us have multiple streaming sources and then also the streaming ones that you don't know of? This is 5, 6 per household, and then this would be tacked onto each of those.
We have a list of 60 vendors.
and what was the percentage that would be tacked on?
They did 5%,
5%, okay,
but that's for us to decide.
so we could
I
do,
mean, that'll be another finance.
okay,
I'm in favor.
So the motion before the board is to authorize village attorney just to review the ordinance in Campton Hills in creating a village amusement tax and then see if it's applicable to the village. Any further discussion? Hearing none, won't go to that level, but roll call vote. Trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Cannelly,
Aye.
trustee Diatley,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger, trustee Thomas.
I,
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Item D, I'd like to thank Administrator Van for stepping in an unusual role while we were in limbo with the building official. But now that we have a building official starting and his position was simply temporary, I'd like to entertain a motion to rescind Administrator Van's temporary appointment as Assistant Building Official.
so second,
Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Thomas. Please rest assured he knew of this and it was already planned. I didn't just fire him on the spot.
when is Dan starting at HR?
29th.
29th. Will I be able to sit down and meet with him again? Like,
Sure.
as planning and zoning trustee, since I'll be working with him? Okay.
What did-
Actually, he's coming in tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, we're gonna have a sit down to, just kind of work out some details on how the process is gonna work.
Can I join?
Absolutely.
At 10 o'clock tomorrow?
All right, so back to this. The rescinding of your temporary appointment.
Mhm.
Any other discussion about Eugene as an assistant building official? Hearing none,
Did you want to put a date on that?
thank you. Effective, it would be. That's why you're the assistant building official. Effective,
What time is it?
it'd be
629.
6/20, do you want to do, no, 6/29, when it takes work.
Because what happens is, because Kirknersville ends on the
we need to do
26th,
for the
but he doesn't
weekend.
start until the 29th.
All right, so we will have it effective end of business day
Yeah.
on June 29th, 2026. All right. Roll call vote, please. Trustee Diatley,
Aye.
trustee Cannelly,
Aye.
trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Schatzberger, trustee Thomas.
I,
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Take away your position.
One less
I'm with you, Liz. What's that?
One less have to wear.
All right, we do have the appointment of Jennifer Clerk, Jennifer Ree on here. I don't know how I didn't see that. Can I have a motion to approve the appointment that I made earlier of Jennifer Ree as Sleepy Hollow Village Clerk?
Second.
Moved by Schatzberger, seconded by Diatley. comments, questions, discussion? Aside from that one typo.
Ms. Clerk, I did look through your responsibilities. It's a lot. You want the gig?
Not really, but you want it?
No.
I mean, can you devote time to all these responsibilities? Cause I know you're working full time.
Yeah, I have my computer up on my desk all day long,
Okay.
answering emails and working both.
Just done a year.
Yeah, and I'm actually taking on more responsibilities than what's in there, so. You're doing the social media, the website, I'm gonna start taking over, so there are additional roles that I've taken on that's not included in that.
Okay.
Yes, if she's taking on those additional roles, because that was probably something that was not originally when the clerk position was created, should that not be added to
For
her
responsibilities.
responsibilities?
We were hesitant to put it in just yet because of the social media. I know that the prior administration didn't want as much of a presence. We've gotten just through the first year and just got on, so one, we'll see what those roles turn out to be. Also, under most of the official duties within the code, there's a clause in there, I know under administrator, it's or duties as appointed or as come up by the board or administration. So there's some flexibility there to add in, but it does lay out the required ones that are needed.
If make an ordinance change.
Yeah, if we add more things into it too, then you're also setting that up for future clerks that may not have skills that I may possess.
So then. Cause I do know, I read, that because we do have a website, we are obligated to put this information out there. So, but then it would be possibly if Jen's not available, it would be
But there's
Somebody
a
else.
caveat to that. It is, you know, requiring a full-time employee to do it. So as a part-time employee, those obligations don't fall.
okay.
Am I even considered a part-time employee though?
Right, you're not even,
I'm not even an employee.
Right. Well, it's, yeah,
You're, like, I don't qualify for any of the benefits that like
Right.
an employee would get.
Right.
I just get my stipend. Kind of like the building official, she was a public official because she was appointed, but an independent contractor, so not an employee. She's been appointed, she receives a stipend, but she's not an employee, she doesn't work under health insurance or any of the deductions or formal.
right.
Not 1099.
No, she gets a W two because there's tax to take it out and stuff
Okay.
like that, but it's not technically an employee of the village.
Any further discussion?
Mhm.
Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the appointment of Jennifer Ree as Sleepy Hollow Village Clerk? Say aye.
Aye.
Sorry.
Hi.
I'm not sure who we're talking.
All opposed? All in favor, no opposed, motion passes, thank you. We'll get that oath taken. Yes.
Are we doing it now?
You want to do it right now, or do you want to do it after exec session? Doesn't matter. We can do it after exec.
All right, you're
Raise your right
phone lady.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, we got it.
Oh, John.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Want to read it? So repeat after me. I, Jennifer Reed, having been appointed to the position of village clerk. I, Jennifer Reed, have been appointed to the position of village clerk. In the village of Sleepy Hollow, King County, Illinois. The village of Sleepy Hollow, King County, Illinois. Do solemnly swear that I will support. Do solemnly swear that I will support. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the State of Illinois. Constitution of the State of Illinois. And the ordinances of the village of Sleepy Hollow. And the ordinances of the village of Sleepy Hollow. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of deputy clerk. Of clerk. And I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of clerk to the best of my ability. Best of my ability. Thanks. Another year. All right, can I get a motion to break to executive session for section 2C1 personnel and collective bargaining, section 2C2?
So moved, Diatley.
Second. Moved by Diatley, seconded by Bill Pop. All roll call vote, please. Trustee Canali.
Aye.
Trustee Thomas.
Aye.
Trustee Schatzberger. Aye. Trustee Diatley.
Aye.
Trustee Hawk.
Aye.
All in favor, no opposed, we'll break for executive session at 9:37, please. We'll go to the other room.
Do they wanna stay in here? If there's nothing else, you wanna just stay in here?
What's that?
You wanna just stay in?
Oh, you guys all take, that would be great. Can you guys have? What is the what? It's not.
Need a 7-minute stretch.
Or.
I can bring that name.
Yeah. Two schools.
Yeah, because they have. Since the creation. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, so I don't, let's say.
Let's get you somebody start, we're staying here. I just needed a 7-minute stretch.
Do you have it?
Do you want me to?
We're gonna do it right after.
Then I'm going to.
Do mute in the screen and I'll.
I'm gonna put I have
I
a.
know.
PowerPoint on the executive session. Then I'll meet the line. When you come back in, just stop the screen share, turn on the news. And then say whatever you want, and then the meetings, then go on spread. Because we'll take our own time to say.
Yes. Thank you.
That's what I was talking about, right? We kind of. Some rush like that. Especially.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure. Do you have it up?
Here we are, 10:05.
Did you unmute it? I did. It's, there's gonna be about a 45-second delay. Yes, unmuted. Okay, we're good. Yep. Eventually. All right. Thank you, folks. We're resuming open session at 10:06. Roll call, please. Trustee Diatley,
Here.
trustee Thomas,
Here.
trustee Schatzberger,
Here.
trustee Hoff,
Here.
trustee Connelly.
Here.
Thank you. So we're back under the new business. Item 14B, discussion and motion to authorize Chief Parma to move forward with an actuarial study to assess IMRF for the village. Can I have a motion?
So moved, Diatley.
Second.
Moved by Diatley, seconded by Thomas. Comments, questions, discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote, please. Trustee Schatzberger,
Aye.
trustee Hoff,
Aye.
trustee Connelly,
Aye.
trustee Diatley,
Aye.
trustee Thomas.
Sorry.
All in favor, no opposed, motion passes. Is there any further new business?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Move to adjourn by Diatley, seconded by Thomas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned at 10:07.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, it's
Yeah.
The potential home.
Just kind of.
Follow up would be great.
Follow up and see.
Yeah, they don't want them to feel too pressured.
No,
But yeah,
I just
yeah,
want to
that's
see if they're still considering it working here, because if that's it,